There are certain practices that I know that have proven to give good results, but somehow you just struggle with doing them. Accountability, having an accountability system, whether it's a person or a group of people that you're accountable to, that you could either practice those things with, you're checking in with each other, you're keeping each other on each other's toes. You get what I'm saying? That's a good one for that. You feel me? So
sit back, relax, and chill. Grab a glass of wine or a cup of tea, 'cause you're listening to NoTable Talk.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy, Otumba, and welcome back to my podcast, NoTable Talk, a podcast where I break my tables that you may be able to resonate with as well. If it's the first time, thank you for watching, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope this episode motivates you to check out the previous episodes and keep you coming back for the subsequent episodes. And if it's not your first time, as always, I appreciate you for coming back. I appreciate you for patronizing my podcast. Thank you for all your feedback. Thank you for the likes, the views, the shares, and every way you support this. And I trust that you haven't come back is because you find this valuable enough to come back to, whether it's just for you to hear my gist or to get insight into my life or to actually be encouraged or to learn something. Who knows? I know it could be anything really, but I appreciate you for whatever reason it is. Thank you. And without further ado, let's get into it. So I think the train of thoughts I've been on the previous 2, 3, 4 episodes has kind of allowed me to think a lot about my past. I say that as if I'm like 100 or 70 and I have like my past is like a long way back, but it just allowed me to think about my younger years. One thing that really came to mind is the lesson teachers that I had. The lesson teachers. I know in Africa we call them lesson teachers. You could call them tutors. You could call them after school teachers. You could call them whatever it is. I think tutors are like the widely accepted term. So I had a bunch of lesson teachers, and lesson teachers being people that come over to your house and they tutor you in select subjects, typically maybe English, math, chemistry, physics, or honestly, it could be anything really. But the idea is your parents hire these people to come over and give you after school lessons to just kind of help you, whatever your needs may be. Sometimes it may just be because you need to pick up your grades. Sometimes you may just need that extra attention. Sometimes you may just need to be occupied. Maybe you had so much free time and they see your traits and they see that if you're idle, that's going to be a dangerous thing to have to accommodate. And sometimes it could just be for accountability. And for me, I realized that maybe my parents could beg to differ, but I think for me, I realized that was one of the major functions that lesson teachers had for me. I know that when I apply myself, I don't have any challenge academically. If I do my due diligence, put in the work, read. If anything, I think it was something that I almost even prided myself in. And looking back now, especially with some of the things I've shared, we could see how that may have shot me in the foot, where I may have prided myself in sometimes just investing myself to the bare minimum and being able to depend on my mental fortitude and intelligence to just kind of BS my way through and actually come out with pretty decent results. So it's something that I know, even though I never really actually said it out loud, it's something that I know I had within me. It's a mindset that I know I had when I was younger. If anything, I know there was a particular time where I just said to myself, what I need to do is just listen in class. And me just listening in class, I'll be good. I may never need to go back to my books after. I may not need to do the extra reading that a lot of people would expect me to do. All I need to do is just listen in class, pay attention, and do my assignments. And then I should be good. I should be able to understand adequately and retain information and do a pretty decent job. And I think, it worked for some time, but I think the further I went, the more advanced I got academically, you realize that, okay, there is that extra investment that is necessary. But back to topic. So I think this is, for me, the major reason why lesson teachers were important for me was for accountability. Because in thinking back, lesson teachers really, they go over your actual school curriculum. They also give you assignments in addition to your actual school assignments. And they're this system that keeps you accountable to actually do the work. So yes, you may be in school and teachers may not be able to attend to each student specifically and individually because they have a whole class to attend to. But when your parents hire a lesson teacher, it's for you, for better or for worse. For better or for worse. So that really helped me. That really helped me. Whenever I had lesson teachers, it helped keep me on my toes because I realized that I was answerable to someone, especially in a country like Nigeria. I would assume a lot of African countries really, where the rod is allowed in certain ways, even though some people do too much with it, but punishment is not outside the question. It's not out of the question. You feel me? Punishment when you lapse in your work, when you don't do your due diligence, is not outside the question. Some people may even expect it to be directly involved. You feel me? But that system really helped keep me accountable. And in thinking back to that time, it really helps me understand some of the key functions of accountability, really. And one thing I think of is the fact that, especially because I've highlighted how I could have had the tendency to just do the bare minimum, not apply myself, do that extra work that it takes to be excellent or to ensure excellence, to make it a predictable result. That accountability system of my lesson teachers pushed me outside my comfort zone, really. It made me engage in a way that if I was left to my own self, I typically wouldn't engage in. It kept me on my toes. And especially further down the line now where I have certain systems of accountability, I realized that to constantly be the case. When you see that you're not just answerable to yourself, but there are people that you're answerable to, and then you're put in a position where you cannot just lapse in your duties. For whatever reason, it could be to maintain your ego. It could be to uphold the perception people have of you. It pushes me past dealing with things based on convenience, which also makes me think, why do we need the expectations of other people? Or why is the expectation on ourselves greater when we think of it coming from other people aside ourselves? But I know that cannot just be the general case. Maybe that's what distinguishes great people from good people, or people that do good from people that do great, and people that do excellent works. Yeah, okay. I see. Yeah, expectation. Already have greater expectations for yourself. Raise the standard. Raise the standard. Isn't that interesting, man? Raise the standard. And in me saying this, maybe this could be a way where you could identify areas in your life where you may need accountability, really. Maybe this is a way where you can look at certain areas in your life and say, okay, I really don't have high standards for myself in this area. I tend to just do the bare minimum. The results I produce in this area tend to just range from maybe just mediocre to just good enough. Maybe I tend to just settle in this area. Maybe left to my own standards, left to myself, I don't finish. Left to myself, I don't see things all the way through. Left to myself, I tend to just keep going back on my word. For every step I take forward, I take 2 steps back. This could be a way where you can identify places in your life where you need accountability. So that's one thing lesson teachers did for me. It placed that demand on me. Times where I didn't feel like doing my assignments, but I know that I am not just answerable to someone. There could also be consequences. still, even in all of that, sometimes I lapsed in my duties and I bore the brunt of it. With scars to show. Another thing I realized about accountability in thinking back to that time, thinking back to the lesson teachers that I had, is that it just gave me a platform to actually tap into a potential that was already there. When you're pushed outside your comfort zone, it's almost like you're stretched a little bit more. You realize what you're capable of. You tap into a potential that already existed. You feel me? Tap into potential that already existed. I knew within myself because I was able to judge how I was able to assimilate my lessons, assimilating classes, how I was able to understand things, pick things up in class, pick things up in school. But if anything, me recognizing that traits left to myself, it just allowed me to just settle and just use that to just make it. You feel me? Just do good enough. Just do good enough. But having that accountability and pushing me outside my comfort zone, it helped me tap into a potential that already was there, but I was able to stretch myself more. I was able to explore that intelligence that I may have recognized in myself. I just wasn't in a place where I could put that demand on myself. If you know what I'm saying, where I could put that demand on myself. So I realized that me stretching myself more, I was able to tap into a potential that was already there, that I was already capable of, but it gave me a platform to actually explore the lengths and the breadths that I could actually achieve. But that accountability was huge for me. And it's something that I realized even further down the line, where there were certain areas in my life where I identified that accountability, it really helps me tap into the potential of this thing and really, really, really reap the benefits of it, especially when it's certain things that I know, certain practices that I know are good for me, but somehow, you just like a diet. Somehow it's the foods that are good for you that you just have a struggle eating or abiding by. It's the diet that is good for you that is the most painful to abide by. You feel me? Junk is typically what is sweeter. Junk is typically what is more enjoyable. So the same way, even I may have realized that, okay, there's certain practices that I know that have proven to give good results, but somehow I just struggle with doing them. Accountability, having an accountability system, whether it's a person or a group of people that you're accountable to, that you could either practice those things with, you're checking in with each other, you're keeping each other on each other's toes. You get what I'm saying? That's a good one for that. You feel me? So I hope this encourages you to use accountability as a system to accommodate whatever lapses you may feel in your life, or you may see in your life. You may see in certain segments of your life. Especially if there are certain things that you know are critical in your life and you just not achieving all you need to achieve in that space. Or there's certain practices or indulgences that you know will be highly profitable for you. Reading a book. Maybe I'll go into this next time. Or, it could be praying. It could be anything. But having that accountability is a good system to help push outside your comfort zone, to help you tap into a potential that already exists. And honestly, through the process, you would enjoy it. You would have, especially because you're dealing with other people, so you're having a community, and you would see, usually you reap more benefits than you expected. If you usually reap some benefits than you expected. So, thank you guys. Thank you guys for watching, for listening to another episode of NoTable Talk. Hope you enjoyed this one, and like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next episode. Hiya, peace.
Sit back, relax, and chill. Grab a glass of wine or a cup of tea, 'cause you're listening to NoTable Talk.